welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to be looking at a series of videos. Sorry, I have a cat in my lap here. And yes, my hair is in braids today. Here's the cat. Don't bite me, you vicious animal. Kendra, she's, by the time you guys see this, I'm pretty sure she'll be 14. She's 13 in this video. It is the 3rd of February. So on to what we're covering. So we're going to cover a series of videos from a YouTube channel called Healthcare Triage. Now this is connected to Crash Course and the Brothers Green. That is how I found them. So they're also connected to PBS Digital Studios specifically. So what this video specifically covers, and it's not that long, and they were only a year ago. So this one's specifically titled Vaccines, History, Present, and Future. So there are about 6 videos. And the longest is about 11 and a half minutes. So these are not very long. So I've already covered or will cover Crash Course series on not just vaccine history, but on outbreak science. So that's longer. That's a 15-minute video series. This is only 6. So with this one, we're dealing, our first video is Who Invented Vaccines? A history of variolation and inoculation. So this one talks about how early on, before we understood germ theory, particularly with smallpox, it's the big one here, people were grinding up smallpox spores and shooting up their noses, rubbing smallpox sores on them, doing various things to smallpox sores before giving them to people. And basically, this is what we would call inoculation or variolation, where they were doing different forms of trying to expose people to weaker versions of a disease without really understanding what the heck was going on. Because again, this is prior to germ theory. It's been going on for hundreds of years, starting in like China and India, specifically with smallpox. So probably because that's one of the few diseases where there was something visual that they could interact with. So, and they were trying to get rid of it. So that's about a little over 7 minutes. So it talks about that history. Then it talks about a variety, the next video is a variety of vaccine, a history of vaccine development. So this is talking about modern vaccines and how things came to be and what types of vaccines there are. Then that's a little over 8 minutes. The next video is how vaccines work with your immune system. So this literally explains the science of how vaccines work and what different vaccines do. And then we have the first video on the history of vaccine backlash, part 1. Yeah, this isn't new. There was vaccine backlash back when they were trying to inoculate people from smallpox, just when germ theory was coming into being. Cat getting into a closet here. We'll deal with that later. Kendra. But nonetheless, sorry about that. So it's an interesting, it's the first, this is the historical part of vaccine backlash, how they were pissed off. It's like, how dare you force me to do this? What is this going to do? The next one is incidents and criticisms, vaccine backlash, part 2. So this talks about, yes, there's been problems with lab creation. And there were some issues with the polio vaccine because the labs weren't following the steps to create the vaccine that the creators set out, or things were not stored properly. And there was nothing wrong with the vaccine itself. It was human error. And then the last video is vaccine development, COVID-19, and the mRNA. So that's the type of that newer vaccines that we're seeing, that what the COVID-19 vaccine is, how we really were able to develop it safely but quickly because we were building on information that we already had. Not only did we have the mRNA, but we had dealt with SARS before and MERS before. So these are very similar to the COVID-19, just they just didn't spread quite as fast. And why they were deadly, they didn't really spread as again, as worldwide as we thought. So they were already developing this stuff. They already had the backbone and stuff that was all, they were already ready with a little tweaks to go into human trials because the hard stuff had been already done. They'd already, so they were able to prove it was safe, and then they were able to move on. Not to mention, as opposed to a lot of other things, there was kind of it was pretty easy to get people to become part of these studies because really quickly. So they were able to get large groups really fast for a lot of these things because people are desperate for a vaccine to deal with this. So, and then it talks about the future of the mRNA and what we can do with it. So this is a pretty good, that's a little over 11 minutes. So I think that's the longest of the videos. Yeah. And again, there's only 6 of them. So this is a really good video collection to look at. And yes, it's done by a doctor with the support of the National Institute of Healthcare Management Foundation. So that's they're supporting this. So they're also probably helping provide some of the information. So it's a very trustworthy source if you're looking at the history of vaccines and what vaccines do and how we got to where we are and how certain things work. This is a really good collection of videos to watch. Again, it's not that long. I mean, with the exception of the criticisms, is about 9 minutes. Okay, the last video is a little over 11 and a half. The rest of these range between a little over 7 to a little over 8 minutes long. So they're done really well. They're very clear, but they're also very short. So a wide range of kids who can understand. I would say late elementary into high school, this is a great video. The little ones aren't gonna quite get this, but again, you know your kids. So I really enjoyed them. They're really, really informative. I follow this channel myself and find it very interesting and very informative. This is very much a science thing, as similar to the other video, the crash course, which is again much longer, that covers not just the history of vaccines, but outbreak science specifically. So that is the end of this video. If you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe. I am covering vaccines. I do cover lighter stuff. Seriously, I'm covering unicorns. Not joking. I'm actually covering unicorns. I do little kids stuff as well. In fact, there's multiple. I have a couple children's books that I've already covered sitting over here for the unicorns involve Pete the Kitty. So I cover books and films from either for family stuff to older stuff to little kids to wide ranges. I've covered the Princess Diaries, the Guardians of Gahul, Tamora Pierce, or a lot of the series I cover. I cover African American History Month, Caribbean American History Month. I'm doing musicals coming up. That's on the horizon here. I'm covering children's books on musicals or on music and musicals like Mary Poppins, The Sound of Music. What do I have around? The King and I. That one has issues. The King and I has issues, but you can hear about that in a video that is upcoming. So be sure to check out the rest of the channel. Leave a positive comment if you have one. Thank you.